For full disclosure, we received a copy of this game for review purposes from our friends over at game.press. Hello, this is Tim at Wembembo on everything, and you're joining me this week for a small bite-sized DLC episode on Ludaro. Ludaro is a roguelike deck-building dice game with a unique twist on Ludo. Plan your moves, manipulate your dice rolls, and unleash powerful spirit cards to beat the score. Upgrade tiles, collect quirky pets, and stack wild combos as you battle in epic boss fights with game-changing modifiers. Ludaro is being developed and published by Evil X Games and was released on May 16th, 2025. For those who haven't played Ludo, the long and short of it is roll dice, make your way around the board, score points once you finish your lap around the board. This has clearly taken a lot of inspiration from games like Balatro. You can summon spirit cards. This game's analog for jokers. You can modify your deck or your dice, which is an analog for the tarot cards. The only thing that I think this game really does that's really different to Balatro's formula is having what's called the family. Now, the family is essentially a set of characters that you pick prior to starting your round. I guess you could argue that's a deck in Balatro. But what this does is it allows you to modify each lap of the board. So you'll always start out as, I picked the knight, because it was like a medieval theme I went for. The knight does nothing special. He is your run-of-the-mill board game piece. You will score your points once completing a lap. But then you have characters like the wizard, who doesn't need to finish their lap around the board to complete their score. There are other effects as well, but to be honest, I found the wizard so centralizing that they didn't really matter in my opinion. They just weren't as good. The wizard is an outright upgrade to the knight, and everything else feels below the wizard. For full disclosure, I didn't really enjoy my time with Ludaro. To me, it was a evolution or a step in the Balatro-like, and I'm using that analog a lot because I think if they can draw from the formula, so can I. But I don't think it's enough. I don't think just changing the core gameplay loop from poker to Ludo is enough to make a significant difference in your title. It's not without merit. It does have a very cutesy, cozy art direction. For those who are more familiar with Ludo than I am, you may get a kick out of it. But for me, it just wasn't. It wasn't standing out. It wasn't standing on its own 2 feet. There isn't a crazy amount I can say about this game. The copy we received was near enough a demo, with a bunch of details being advised that it's going to be in the full release. So I cannot comment on all of the families, or all of the tile modifiers, or all of the bosses, or all of the spirit cards. It looks like there's plenty of feature-rich content in there, so if you're into this sort of thing, you'll probably get a kick out of this. I'm surprised that I didn't, to be honest. What I could see happening for this game, though, is a series of expansions. Maybe they introduce new tile sets. Maybe they introduce new spirit cards. Maybe they introduce new families. More ways to have player expression and to have the game give you more options and versatility in your builds. And I'm using builds here in big inverted commas, because when your game boils down to the inherent random nature of a dice roll, how much can you optimize a build to that? Again, to draw from Balatro, that has the strategic element of manipulating a deck. You know that it can only be one of 52 cards at the start, and you can build, let's say, an army of gold kings. This doesn't really have that. You're always given 3 dice, and you're always given essentially a bet that you can make, where it's like, I'm gonna roll a 3 on this one, and if you roll a 3, you get double points. Great, that's all well and good, but it's always going to be random, 100% of the time. I don't know if you can ever truly fix or manipulate your hand or your run in this game. I didn't get too far in this. It's a demo. If it were me looking to make some changes, I'd probably want to see some balancing redone, particularly in the medieval family. But also I'd like to see maybe just a bit of a clearer explanation of how Ludo works. The tutorial guides you through how spirit cards work and how your dice bet works and how the family works. but it doesn't teach you the core game of Ludo. And that, to me, falls down because that is your core gameplay. That's your foundation. And without that, I'm a little lost. I think this game could do really well. There's obviously an emerging genre for this sort of board game roguelike. But right now, I think it's just a few points off of being something really interesting. This has been Tim, at Wembembo on everything, and I'll see you next time.